Laser projects. Best laser projects of the year. This is a small sampling of over 1,000 pieces I made in 2024. Lots of different laser ideas. And so here we're going to look at my 9 favorite ones, some honorable mentions throughout. So lots of ideas, inspiration, what you can do with the different lasers, some tips, free files intermixed as well. Here you have it, laser projects, best of 24. So for the video, be sure to use those timestamps if you're looking for something in particular. However, I did mix a couple projects together and there are tips throughout. And so for most of these, I do have a full video, a full tutorial walking through all the possibilities, tips, tricks, materials. But first up, I want to talk about acrylic pieces and mandalas. So the first project. So acrylic, awesome. So many possibilities, whether it's clear, glittery, to add a decorative element, doing some cool signs like this, or something I had a lot of fun doing are these layered, multi-layered signs. And so do have these videos right here. Full video on both the acrylic projects, just all the kinds of things you can do with acrylic, as well as all the things that you can do with layered signs. And so here, just gonna show some of the videos on some of the other pieces. If you want lots more on this, go ahead and check those full videos. But first up, these acrylic pieces and the layered mandalas. I've really enjoyed working with acrylic this last year. Quick splash of color, a little glitter, works well with wood, lots of other applications. So in the video, I talk about types of acrylic and different machines. So if you want to get into that, I can check out the full video. But here's just a couple pieces we cut and then assembly. And so in most of my videos, I talk about some different ways of attaching all these small pieces. I, of course, go into greater detail, the different options. But with acrylic, right, just quick assemble, lots of ideas here. And so that full video explores a lot more of the tips and tricks and tutorial. But here are just some ideas, some inspiration, and acrylic was so much fun. Definitely a great project from this last year. Building on that was these layered signs. And so this is kind of like a mandala effect with some of them, or others just, you know, this cool 3D effect. And so cutting multiple layers, some out of wood, some out of acrylic, painting some. So here you can see just doing some painting, and then you're just adding all of these layers together, and it adds that really cool 3D effect. You've probably seen this, but the cool mandala effect was one that I hadn't seen as much, and the amount of layers you can get is just crazy. And so adds so much depth, so cool. This one in particular, just so many different hardwood species, so many different layers, just crazy, crazy depth. On this one with the eagle, I think there's like 11 layers. So there's some pretty crazy files out there with all kinds of different layers. But doing these was one of my favorite projects from the year. So this video in particular kind of explores some of those options, some of those considerations. If you're looking for the files I used, I will talk about that later in the video. Next up is a fun project on puzzles and boxes. So I have a whole video just on how I made these puzzles and boxes. So jigsaw puzzles, right? They've been around with lasers for a while. Lots of possibilities. I explore the options. But this one actually used a new laser that had a print head, so I could print some cool art, and then boxes, lots of different types of boxes. And so in that video, I actually explore some different box file sources for free files. I'll talk about a big one later in the video, but a couple other links to some other websites, how to make these boxes, but lots of possibilities doing jigsaw puzzles, whether it's cool art like that or a family picture, but that's a fun project. So here's a little bit on the puzzles. So many ways to do puzzles on the lasers. Pretty straightforward, but some ideas right here. I'll talk about this machine later in the video, kind of like a surprise for me, where it actually has a print head and then you can use the laser. Really cool, lots of possibilities here with all kinds of designs. So pretty basic, you get your design, you can print it, you could even do stickers and then go ahead and cut it out. But this particular video also involved a lot of box making, and so I explored a lot of different boxes with flex, different types of boxes that were custom to the puzzles, and so this is kind of an all-in-one video with puzzles and boxes, both hardwoods, different materials. But here's just a quick little look at what that was, but a whole video just on this was a super fun project. All right, this one is super fun. I made this one way back in January. But these chess boards, so much fun. So you can see these two chess sets I have right here. A lot of fun making a set where I made the pieces themselves. It also has Othello, checkers, but we have all of these different pieces. You can do acrylic, all kinds of possibilities, or you can even design your own. I have a new video recently showing how to design different pieces if you want your king or your queen to be like a Kraken head or whatever you want for, you know, a sports team, or just a basic one. But lots of steps here, some really great tips in this video. So here's a little bit more about the chess boards, the chess sets. So laser cut games or boards like this chess right here, it's really layer upon layer upon layer. And so you build up the walls by doing all those intricate layers. This right here, I do have double stick adhesive. I'll talk about that in the video, some other ways to attach it. Lots of variations and possibilities, as well as with the pieces, right? I had a lot of fun doing some thicker acrylic pieces, doing some wooden pieces. I do have a video that talks all about how to make these pieces and how to get the right settings, but specifically how to design your own, like this Kraken set, right? Where I have the specific, you know, the Kraken King, the buoy, the mascot. So full video on the chessboards, really fun. Definitely check that out. Some great tips in there with all the other games, some scalable or apply to other things. And then recently do have this video that talks about the software and how to design your unique own pieces. And for project number 4, pretty recent, right, going from beginning of January to the end, is ornaments. Now, I've made a ton of different styles of ornaments. I've actually a couple different videos on it, but the layered signs, super cool. Lots of different styles for making ornaments, and so I have a whole video just on ornaments themselves, but also doing Christmas signs, kind of going back to these layered, multi-layered signs. So I have a couple videos just dedicated to that with some different ideas. Really, really cool, really popular. If you're thinking about selling and you want to sell ornaments, are always the best seller for me. They're just so, people want to get them when you go to craft shows, and so never too early to start with ornaments. But a little bit more about the ornaments, a little bit more about the layered Christmas signs. So similar to those layered signs, did a bunch of these little gnomes. These were so much fun, a bunch of layers, went with some 3 layers, some 5 layers, but so many different colors and possibilities. There's a lot of great files out there for nativity, all kinds of Christmas themed pieces. You can see the gingerbread, some stars, all kinds of the trees. Lots of possibilities. And so this was just a fun video kind of exploring all of that Christmas themed. So some more just on Christmas there, but some other tips for other holidays as well. But ornaments, folks. Ornaments definitely are one of my favorite things to make. There's just so many possibilities. It's that same effect with layering, or you could just do some engraving. I've done some silhouettes with hardwoods. Lots of possibilities here. And like I've mentioned, it is the best seller. So if you would do a craft show, if you want to sell this stuff, this definitely draws people into your booth. They sell really well. People keep coming back each year. Lots of tips on sales if you're looking for that. This is this year's video, and this is an older video with some more tips and ideas. Okay, so the next project is kind of specific to a machine. So this one right here is the F1 Ultra. I will talk about the lasers later in the video. You can see plenty of that on my channel. But this was a newer machine from xtool. This is the F1 Ultra. And this had a feature where you could emboss. So not just engraving, but because it's coming, it's not a gantry moving back and it's coming in at the angle, it's a galvo laser. If you don't know anything about lasers, it's cool, right? Lasers, awesome. But you can do this really cool 3D effect. And so this, obviously, it works with slate. I can get really cool reliefs like here with this Mandalorian or this dragon. But I'm a woodworker, and from the get-go, right, if you're daunted by a wood shop and you don't know much about lasers, curious, you can run all of these machines in your home. You just need an air purifier, or you can vent it outside. So you don't need to have a lot of extra tools or knowledge. But this embossing in wood was just so much fun. I had a lot of fun. So here are some other with the embossing wood project. Now, engraving wood is really cool. But this is embossing. It really is a 3D effect. So you can see the path of the laser. It's going in all the different angles. So it really does this 3D relief where it really makes the piece jump out. Now you can go forever. You go super deep. All kinds of possibilities. And so the video on this project, I do talk about what woods work best. Some hardwoods definitely work better. Even if you're not a woodworker, there's some great tips for you. Well, definitely some great tips for the and if you are a woodworker, some other tips as well. But some really cool results, some definite possibilities. And to my knowledge, this is only something you can do on that F1 Ultra laser
pretty cool. Just a fun project from this last year.
All right, so we just looked at embossing wood, well, also embossing slate, embossing coins. That was a super fun project from this year where really it was kind of engraving, not as much of like the cutting and layers, but just one machine that was able to cut lots of layers. Now I did do some cutting, and so this, of the top 9 projects, this one actually is really just all the F1 Ultra projects. I was able to cut thin brass, could do earrings. I was able to cut other, metal business cards, do some really cool things. So some really unique possibilities. And of course, coins, right? Deep engraving in coins. I did wax seals, lots of other things. So really quick, I just want to show some of the fun projects that I did with this machine, this F1 Ultra, mostly due to the fact that it has a 20-watt fiber laser. So just some extra potential. Again, I'll talk more about lasers later in the video, but here, F1 Ultra projects, check these out.
So many possibilities here. So just a quick overview of some of the things. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of cutting that I'll show. A lot of different things on this particular machine. But cutting brass, cutting thin metal is definitely possible. It takes a while, but you can cut some thin brass, make some cool earrings. I had a lot of fun with these business cards. I even had to slow this down because it's actually so fast. But you can do some cool engraving on business cards and then cut out the profile. You can even, make your own little set for some jewelry. So many possibilities. Got some Mandalorian there. Here's some Mariner logo. Took some business cards and glued them to some wooden, some walnut plywood. So many possibilities. I've done rings before, but this year I really wanted to work on doing the inside of the ring. So played around with that a lot. That was super fun. And on this F1 Ultra, it is a 20-watt fiber, so it can go so much deeper, so much more possibilities with other metals. So if you're getting into jewelry, this is an awesome, awesome tool. But here you can see after it's all polished up, the outside, the inside, interior, and, a little Lord of the Rings, right? The One Ring. Also, with brass, you can do these wax seals. And so it's just going deep engraving. Now, this takes a while to remove enough material, but it removes it to create your own wax seal. And then I just had so much fun playing around with this. All the colors of different things. This, I still need to make a whole video just on this. It was just too much fun. But lots of possibilities making these seals. Cool. Very cool. Again, this is like kind of an all-in-one, idea here, all on this machine. I was able to make this little plate. I cut that out of the brass and then engraved it for the special old World Series baseball. You could probably just buy, the little plates and engrave them, but you can cut it. Also, like we embossed the wood earlier, we're embossing the coins. And so these, you can get some crazy results. So it did a big engraving, now a cleanup pass. So much is so cool. So you can do this with brass, you can do this with some other metals as well. Definitely I have a lot more to show on this in the future, but that was just a blast. So this particular tool, so cool, did so many cool things. Also did some ceramics and did some, deeper engravings and all kinds of different, vases and mugs. Kind of a cool effect where you went actually deep into it. And so I really like that look and kind of explore that along. Had a whole video just on that process because it was so much fun. And then one other thing, this really was the cool new tool this year. This is a conveyor. It comes with an automatic conveyor for batch engraving, and so it's got a camera. It's got the cameras in there to sense it, and using this conveyor to do all kinds of things got really good results. So I have a whole video just on that process, but I've actually used it a lot most recently. Actually, recently doing this with a Catan card game, making cards out of business cards. This is really great for batch production. Pretty fun. But if you're curious about that, got a video on that as well, of course.
All right, this one was just crazy. It was so much fun screen printing. Yes, actual screen printing, not just putting a shirt in a laser and burning it, but actually burning the screens. So screen printing, right, it's been around forever. You get your mesh, you have to do layers, your emulsifier, all that stuff, and then there's lots of steps to create the screens to then do your ink, squeegee, and do screen printing. And so with lasers, actually any laser is gonna work. There's this really cool product that xtool came out with where the pre-coated screens, you just put them in, and if you mess around with the settings, it will burn the screen so you can do some screen printing. So I've done I don't know, pretty close to 100 shirts now. All kinds of different ones. You can have fun doing all kinds of designs, all kinds of things. So I've done this with multi-colors. So I've even done up to 4 colors on a shirt, but doing a lot of different things. Sweatshirts, screen printing, all kinds. It's a different kind of thing where you're using the laser to create these screens and then squeegee. So here's just a quick little look at screen printing. I do have those, 2 different videos on the process if you want a deeper dive into it.
This part's really simple. You just take the pre-coated screen, throw it in your laser, little settings, invert it, pretty straightforward, and then it removes and it's ready for ink. And it looks like this, so cool. They have a lot of preset settings on these, so great. Then you add the ink, it's just so much fun. This one, I really love how the black looks. I've done a ton of different colors, but this one, when I did it, I was just like blown away just how clean it is. It's just really fun. And these shirts, they wear really well, and they're not, they're not vinyl, they're not iron-on. It's actual ink, and so super fun. Made a bunch of these for a family trip. We all had custom ones to design. Even did some multicolor shirts, so you can do multicolor as well. Did sweatshirts, have done so many things. I talk a lot about design. I will give some tips on free files later in this video, but this is the first video I did, and then this is the most recent one with multicolor.
That screen printing really is fun. I've made dozens of shirts for myself, for coworkers, family, lots of fun. Family reunions, lots of possibilities there, so definitely check that one out. All right, the next project is my favorite of all the things I've made this year. This has been on like my bucket list of maker projects, something I wanted to make for years, and that's the Settlers of Catan, or Catan, however you pronounce it. And so I made 14 custom sets of Catan. So it's a board game, right? We use these different tiles, and so I was able to explore all kinds of different materials, hardwoods, hardwood veneer, MDF, painting, staining wood, so much, making these boxes, making these sets, making the pieces. Yeah, making the pieces. Hardwood. So I actually even did real legit hardwood. So this is Wenge, a really, really beautiful, beautiful wood. Purple heart, yellow heart. So these little trays with all the individual pieces. I also made a bunch of pieces out of acrylic. Like I mentioned earlier with the chessboards, I have a whole video that's just talking about the software, how to design a piece like this. So this is 2 different parts where I have a sheet, I cut it out and then kind of friction fit it together. Or if you want to do a little bit of woodworking, you still don't need all the tools, you can make a piece like this where it's real solid wood. And an awesome tip in there, no hand sanding. So some epic tips. Now this, not a lot of folks know Catan or Catan, but there are a lot of tips in this video for all kinds of laser applications. So if you really, of all the projects, one video to watch, that's Settlers of Catan. It also probably took the most time of everything because I made 14 unique sets, box sets like this. But this is a super fun one. So here's a quick little look, little more look at making these Catan sets.
This project really was all about cutting. So cutting out all these hexagon shapes. The particular design I used had interlocking, so that was really cool. Used acrylic, used basswood, did a lot of painting. So in this video I give a lot of painting tips. This really is an all-encompassing great video for laser tips. Tips on staining, all kinds of applications, and why I did 14 sets. I wanted to show all the possibilities, including these beautiful hardwood veneer pieces of plywood and finish. But anyway, we got the pieces, we cut them all out, all the different finish options, and then assembling as a board. You can also make pieces, right? Hardwood pieces, real hardwood, gluing them together. I got a couple videos just on the process of the hardwood and some new considerations, ways where you don't have to do any sanding. So there's a video just on how to use hardwood really on the laser cutter that's there. Of course, I also did do some acrylic pieces, kind of like what I did with the chess pieces earlier, but so much fun. This was absolutely hands down my favorite project I've ever made, and it was involved, but you can see all the possibilities. So this video really does showcase a lot more materials and some other considerations, both with small pieces, layering, some box building as well. I did cards, I did inserts. So this works for other games, not just Catan, but other games as well. So definitely check out that video. It was so much fun. And like I mentioned earlier, I have this other video on the pieces, kind of about the software. How do you create these pieces and how that works? But definitely recommend it. Super fun to play. Highly recommend.
All right, we're almost there. This is the 9th favorite project from this year. There are some honorable mentions and some other tips coming. But the most popular video this year, as far as projects, was these signs, these painted canvases. The idea is you take a canvas, you layer on paint, spray paint, acrylic paint, or just rattle can paint, and you layer it down, and then you program the laser, lots of trial and error, to remove. So it's art by subtraction. So imagine this is a white canvas. It's white on the back, right? I did some layers of blue, some other blue, and then I did a couple coats of black on the top. The laser removed the material to reveal the image. This is crazy cool. And so I've made so many, I mean, we got Marvel, we got all kinds of possibilities. You can get all crazy doing Galaxy. This one I did some yellow, some orange, some green, some purple, all kinds with black on top. But these painted canvases, super fun, and it works on any laser, though I will say my best results doing the painted canvas was actually with diode machines, but you can certainly play around with CO2 and other lasers. But the lower power diode machines did the best. 20 watt was my sweet spot, but you can play around the settings. So here's a little bit more on these painted canvases. Super fun.
And it really is this simple. You just add paint, layer, 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 play around with the colors. In the full video, I do talk about some other considerations and tips. So definitely check that out if you want some ideas and some starting settings. You're going to have to play around and test out with your settings, but really any laser should be able to do this. But like I mentioned, diodes really do well. And so here it's just removing, right? In so much detail, it's crazy. But lots of possibilities. You can do family portraits. I made this little collage style for my family. Did some other AI art, found some other high resolution art. You can do, sports themed ones. So much possibilities. I believe this process does work on tiles and other things, but I really had a lot of fun working on the canvas and just some great possibilities. So definitely check that one out.
All right, for the honorable mention, it's kind of a machine. Now, I've done a pretty good job so far in just talking about projects. In my videos, yes, I do talk about these different lasers I use. Xtool does send me these lasers in exchange for making these videos. Awesome company, right? I've worked with them exclusively. Amazing R&D, great customer support, wide user base. Actually, quite a few of these projects I found from other worldwide users on Facebook groups and elsewhere. And so they are constantly coming out with new machines. Over 500 folks in R&D. So the F1 Ultra was new this year. Well, another new one that came out this year was the M1 Ultra. So the M1 is a smaller desktop unit, and it also has throw in, another tool in it, right? So we have the laser, but also we have a Cricut or a Silhouette, kind of like a vinyl cutter, and then throw in a print head. So many more possibilities. And so for a hobbyist or a crafter, this project, there are so many possibilities. I just haven't done as much as I would have loved. So some of the things that I've done, well, obviously the pens are kind of cool, right? So I just messed around with the pens. There's some applications, but the gold, there's a foil transfer tip. Doing gold, how cool is this? Right, you can even do your own boxes if you want to add some gold. I've seen some people do this on leather journals where you can add in some gold effects. Some of the other cutters, it can cut out leather. Now you can use a laser cutter to cut leather, but then it's going to smell and it's going to burn. But the cutter works really well. Super awesome. Lots of other applications with the M1 Ultra, including that print head. Let's see, where's a good example? So like these pieces, this was wood, right? This was just basswood, and I printed directly onto the wood, and then I could cut it out. So lots of other possibilities. So really quick, my honorable mention here, or my 10th favorite project of the year, is just all the things you can do with the M1 Ultra. So really quick, just want to show some of this, and then we got some more tips here at the end.
So you mostly got the idea of it, just a couple quick clips. Xtool also did come out with this heating press, smart heat press, so you can use the machine, then do this. This would work great for leather patches as well, not just the vinyl transfer, but lots of possibilities. But I did play around with it. I had actually never used a Cricut before, so if you want to kind of have all the machines in one, super easy, super intuitive, lots of possibilities. I did some stuff for my kids' football team, multicolor, all kinds of stuff. Was super fun. So these were some fun projects and lots of other possibilities you can do on this particular laser.
Really quick, I want to talk about an amazing new resource I've used called Creative Fabrica. Now, this is not new. It's actually been around for quite a while in the laser community, in the crafting world, but it's new to me. And so, some of the great features, all these different files, right? And so you can certainly buy these files on Etsy. You can go to other places, but you can find all kinds of files here in a subscription as opposed to buying individual files. So typically, you'd go onto Etsy or another site and you'd have to spend like $3 on this file and then $5 on this and $4. Well, instead, you can just go, you can try this free trial. Yes, I do have an affiliate link down below. First 10 downloads for free. So at the very least, check it out and you can get 10 downloads for free, which is going to save you some money. And then you can check out, their all access plan. But the other thing that's great is the commercial use is allowed on all the resources. So if you're making items to sell and you want to use these, you do need a commercial license. So a lot of times on Etsy, the commercial license is a separate expenditure. And so anyway, a lot of really great files in here to check out. So, fonts as well, if you really want to spruce up and, up your game with your engravings or whatnot, lots of different files as well as PNGs and things that you can convert. So a lot of different possibilities. So use that link down below and, just click right here and you're going to get started. It's pretty easy. Anyway, well, I've already signed up. You get the idea. So anyway, use that link down below and get started on some cool files. Check it out.
But wait, there's more. Seriously, look at all of these files. I actually did a ton with these displays for craft shows. All of these are all part of it. So definitely check this out. Really cool.
Well, there you have it. Some projects, some ideas. Lasers are just so much fun. If you enjoyed this video, if it added value, please consider subscribing to see more videos like this. About 30 videos for lasers this last year alone. It's kind of ridiculous now that I think of it. So much fun making all these kinds of laser projects and lots more ideas in the future. So stay tuned to see more. And of course, if one of these projects piqued your interest, go back and check out that video. Just check the channel, some cool stuff there. As to the lasers, there are a lot of folks who ask questions about what laser is best, what works. It really depends on what you're looking for. If you are brand new and you don't have a laser, or maybe you just have like an open-ended one that's kind of got the safety issues and you're looking for a closed bed one, my number one recommendation is the S1. The S1 is a great starter laser. It doesn't have as many, cameras or other features, so the price is a little bit lower, but it's got all the safety features and it still has pinpoint accuracy, so I highly recommend checking that one out. You can watch this video right here. This has kind of a good overview of all the different lasers I use and some great ideas, and it'll hopefully answer your questions about what's the best laser. If you're looking to upgrade, if you're looking to purchase, please consider using our affiliate link. You can use this QR code here or down below. A portion of each sale does come back to us. It supports the channel. It's why we make these videos. It's how we can make them. So help support my family. So I appreciate that. But lots of other deals, discounts, codes down below. You can check that out. If you have questions, ideas, or you have an idea for future projects, what will be something cool to tackle for this next year, leave a comment down below on what you think I should try next. Appreciate you watching. Hope it added value, and take care. Until next time.